Guys, one of the biggest problems that comes with people wanting to train is not really knowing how to get their body in a good position very quickly. So I'm going to run through both a joint mobility and kettlebell specific warm-up to get you ready for just about any upper body workout you might want to do. And you find if you train this way, you won't need all those activation exercises that most people do, because everything will actually be doing its job properly simply because we've spent the time on it. So we're going to start just from here on our knees, and we're going to do what's called the three-way neck exercise, which is really simple. So it's just me being as tall as possible and lifting my head up and down. So my goal here is not just to lift my chin up, but it's to actually make my spine as long as possible. So I'm making myself as long as possible from my tailbone to the tip of my head the whole time, extending my spine like this, trying to make as much space between the vertebrae as possible. And then when I'm coming down and trying to touch my chin to my chest, I'm not just crimping on my neck, I'm actually making my neck as long as possible, trying to make all the joints do something in terms of movement. Then we're just going to do the same thing from side to side. So make myself nice and tall and keep my shoulders still and tucked away from my ears. So I don't want to be up here in this position. I want to be shoulders down. My goal here is that my chin should come to about level with my collarbone each time. That's a normal amount of head turn that we should get, and we'll do one more each way. And then I'm going to go ear to shoulder. So make sure your shoulder doesn't follow you. Make sure it's not a full body lean. Make sure it's just ear to shoulder as we're going along. So my shoulders stay away from my ears. I don't just, again, kink my head over. I'm trying to make my head as tall as possible. I'm trying to extend my spine and make all those joints do their job and open up and make sure that everything's actually getting mobilized, not just one segment of my neck. Now from this position here, shoulders, big circles. So I'm going to go shoulders back, shoulders down, shoulders forward and down, shoulders forward and up, shoulders back, and I'm going to turn that into a nice big smooth circle. 8, we'll do 2 more. Everything works in 10s. I've got 10 fingers, I've got 10 toes. We count in base 10s, go the other way. Same thing, go shoulders down and forward, shoulders back and down, shoulders back and up, shoulders forward and up, and then turn that into nice, smooth circles. Trying to keep everything as good as possible. There's 8, 9, 10. Come up to tall kneeling because we need the extra space. Big circles with one arm. So I'm trying to go thumb up. So I want my hand as rotated around as possible, and now go the other way, like thumb up as we go down. There's 8, we do 2 more, 9, 10, and then go the other way. So same thing, thumb's gonna be up, thumb's gonna be down. I'm gonna try to make this circle as big as possible, not be happy with it being out here, but arm as far back as possible while not moving the rest of my body as much as possible. So I really want all the movement coming just from the shoulder joint. Then we're going to go the other way. We got 2 more. There's 9, and there's 10, and then we go the other way. Make these circles as big as possible. Try to rotate the arm as much as possible while we're doing them. Try to minimize any other movement from the body as much as possible. There's 9, and we got 1 more. And now we're going to do the same thing, but with both arms. For bonus points, left arm on top, right arm on top. A little bit of coordination, getting the brain online, along with getting the joints moving properly, alternating which arm is on top each time, and then the other way. Eight, 9, 10. We can come back down to our regular kneeling position here. Arms go out in front, make fists, brush your cheeks, and then try to pull your elbows as close together as possible. So fists come back, elbows go as close as possible. So it's technically an elbow warm-up exercise, but I'm getting internal and external rotation of the shoulders as well by trying to get those elbows as close to possible as my hands go back to that out in front position. And then we go the other way. So try to get the elbows close, brush the cheeks, hands go back in front, and let's do 5 more. One more. There we go. Last little bit of upper body before we get to some specific wrist stuff. With my hands, we're going to go arms out straight. You see I can move my rib cage across. I'm trying to get as far across each time while keeping my hips in the same position. A little bit belly dancer kind of thing going on. But we're going to take this and we're going to create circles with it. So I'm going to go back, side, forward, side, and then turn that into circles and get my T-spine working properly. 9, 10, and then back the other way. This movement in the T-spine is where a lot of your shoulder problems come from. So this lack of movement that a lot of people have from being sat down, bent over, hunched all day long. A healthy T-spine usually means healthy shoulders. One more. All right, then we're just gonna make some space. Take my hands, fingers go back towards my knees. Just gonna hang out here for a few seconds and let some of the tension come off my wrists. And now I've done that, I'm gonna flip my hands over, but I'm gonna block it there with my spare hand. You see my elbow is kind of pointing out to the side, and now my elbow pit is pointing forward. So I'm gonna rotate my arm while locking my hand to the ground. 8, 9, 10, and then same on the other side. So rotate that arm around, turn the elbow so it faces forward. 8, 9, 10. Now the same thing, I make sure my index fingers are pointing straight ahead. Lock my hands to the ground. I'm gonna do this same thing. I can do it 2 at a time now that I've got palms on the ground. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now my hands are warmed up, my wrists are warmed up, shoulders and neck, T-spine, all ready to go. We're actually gonna get started using the kettlebell to start to switch everything on. We're gonna start down here on our knees with an exercise called a halo. So the halo is really simple. It basically goes around your head. We're gonna do 10 one way, then we're gonna do 10 the other way. So the easiest way to pick your kettlebell up, it's upside down, and we just rotate it around the body. I like to think of it orbiting around the line of my ears and my nose, so it stays at roughly the same height all the way around. And then one more, and then back the other way. And one more. Now from this position here, I'm going to start to come into a more weight-bearing position. So now in tall kneeling, my hips are having to stabilize the same as they will when I stand. So when I'm down in this position here, they don't have to do too much for me. My trunk does a lot of work for stability, but now I'm getting my hips involved. So we're starting to mimic what we're going to use for standing pressing work. Anything that's functional in standing, we're starting to work towards now. And I'm going to do what's called a waiter's press, which is really simple. I'm going to sit the bell in my hand as if I was a waiter carrying a plate. So I've got my hips extended, I'm upright, the same as I will be when I actually go to standing. I think that's 4. We'll do one more. And then we're going to go the same on the other side. The benefit of pressing this waiter's press is it makes your lat do its job properly the way the weight sits in your hand. It'll feel slightly different to any other press you're going to do. Now this last one, we're going to get a little bit of rotary stability, a lot of grip and shoulder work in this, and we're going to do a bottoms up press, but we're going to do it from half kneeling. The benefit of half kneeling, I've now got load bearing on one hip, I've got anti-rotation. The way we set our stance up, I could set my stance up here, really, really narrow. I'm gonna struggle to stabilize like that. So the magic stance, the saying for it, is as wide as you need to be, but as narrow as you can be. Yeah, you can put your foot over here. I want something a little bit narrower. Now, bottoms up pressing, when I grab the bell, I'm just gonna grab it like I'd grab a hammer. So instead of being very straight wrist, I'm gonna have a slight cock in my wrist. I'm just gonna go from here. And we're just gonna do 3 because this is a very grip intensive exercise. You generally don't do it for very high reps. And we'll see if my left hand behaves. Same thing. So now you're all warmed up and ready to go. Your shoulders are stable, everything's switched on. I've done trunk stability, hip stability, shoulders and grip, ready to go for just about any upper body workout you can name. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe and head to our website at Peak Performance 40, where you can find more information just like this and a community of guys just like you looking to stay in shape as they pass 40.